solo today as well. That's cool. I should have all the answers. I'm keeping across everything. All right, so hopefully my screen is sharing as well. Chat won't be monitored, probably not, but I have got the Q&A over on my screen over here on the right. So I'll be doing Q&A. I'll be answering all the questions we can. I've got my day booked out, and now I've even got an extra hour booked out. So I'm free until 2 o'clock this afternoon. If everyone wants to keep asking me questions, that's fine. I'm sure you guys have all got more work to do than I do though. So no dramas. We'll see how we go. Yes, most common question, is this being recorded? Yes, it is. So recorded, it'll be sent to you. People that weren't even registered, people that were registered but aren't here will get a copy of the recording as well. And yeah, I'm a bit scared to go to the next slide because I'm not sure if I finished it off yet. Oh, yes, I did do this one. That's me. I really need to get a better photo of myself, get a professional headshot at some stage. That's me. Yeah, I didn't even finish this slide, so let's move that off. So we are we're growing huge. We're up to over 160 staff at ShiftCare at the moment. A big increase of those has been development and engineering. And so, you know, I've been at ShiftCare for three and a bit years now, and I've never seen us pushing out so much work as we are right now. It's almost making my head spin because we have invested in that, you know, the development team and also other aspects of our business. So it's amazing to see the changes coming through over the last 12 months, the growth in our team, and it's really exciting times for us, and we really are looking to solidify ourselves as the #1 choice for you know, NDIS and aged care moving forward, with support at home coming soon. So yeah, it's really, really exciting times to be working at ShiftCare, and hopefully for you guys using ShiftCare, you should start seeing some really good changes. I do need to go back to this because I did have other slides. So I've quickly I was still sort of populating this list this morning, and it's pretty hard to believe that this is pretty much just what we've released this month. So I'm going to go through most of these things really quickly. Obviously, we haven't got all day to sit in a webinar, but I will at least touch on them, and some of them I'll do demos of it. I'll explain some of it, so some of you guys can ask some questions about it. And yeah, so really quickly, staff unavailability improvements, that's been released this week. Bit of some hiccups with that. We'll talk about that. Bulk update staff via data, so you'll be via import, so you can now download your staff list, change things on the CSV, upload it, and you can update existing staff, not just create new staff, which I think is great. Improved shift instructions on the Carers app, bulk assign forms to clients, report hub's cool. Actually, you know what, I'm not even going to list. Let's just go through them, otherwise I'll spend 10 minutes just reading this. But yeah, amazing amount of improvements for 1 month coming soon. So I did want to touch on some of the stuff that we're working on. This isn't all the stuff we're working on, and it was something I was about to start getting stuck into to look at giving you guys a bit of a heads up on what we're currently working on. But yeah, we're adding availability, so not just unavailability, which is the upgrade that we did this week. Probably next week or the week after, availability is going to be out. We've got a new MyOb integration that's like our Xero integration. It's not downloading a file and uploading it. It's actually a API integration. Support at home, you know, we were scrambling to get it ready for the July 1st, and then they changed it to November. So that's been good for us to make sure that we can really rounds those features out in time, and it'll be a really smooth launch for us now for support at home, and really extensive features that we're doing on that. So really, we're going to be the go-to for that stuff. Break tracking, that's exciting. I'll be able to actually give you a bit of a show of that. So being able to actually specify breaks in shifts, just staff will be able to actually clock in and clock out of their breaks, like say that they're taking a break during the shift. Bulk cancel shifts. So this one's been a pretty common feature. I've got to start a client that's away for a week, and I want to have to click into each shift and cancel it. So you'll be able to filter the scheduler by a week, and then click a bulk cancel button, and it'll cancel all the shifts that it can see. Admin deleting messages on messaging. That's a change that is, if someone accidentally types something or something they shouldn't have typed, or they upload a photo that they shouldn't have uploaded. And we've got a HubSpot integration coming, and the idea behind that is you might be using HubSpot as your CRM to manage leads and customers, clients that you might be working on. You'll be able to have it so that when you mark them as a customer in HubSpot, it creates them as a client in ShiftCare. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the slides. So let's move this over here. Let's get my account up. I'll also get the app up as well. And we can start doing a bit of a demo. So staff unavailability improvements. That's probably a good one for the app, actually, if I bring up the app. So we did add, it has slightly moved. So on the app now, we've got availability on the left-hand side. It will show you all your unavailability that you've already got in the system, and you can add unavailability. Now, the biggest thing about this is this repeat function. It was asked so much. It was a huge request, right? What if I'm not available every Monday morning? I don't want to have to go in and put Monday morning every morning. So no, you can repeat it now weekly. You can say, yep, it's on a Monday, and how long does it go for? And yeah, that's huge. I think probably we've had a couple of iterations of changes with this. I think the first one was that when we first launched it, it was red, and people didn't like the red because it looked like an unapproved shift, which I agreed with. So we've changed it to sort of look a bit more like it used to, with the striped lines through it. And we're also adding a toggle. I can't remember where it's going to be, but we're adding a toggle to show or hide unavailability, but also to only show unavailability. So that would be great, so that you can just review your staff's unavailability for a whole week or fortnight without having to go into the manage unavailability stuff. So that's coming soon as well. So yeah, some good improvements there on the unavailability. We've got the update by bulk update staff. Look, that's pretty much just in the CSV import section here. So when you import staff now, you've got the so you can download staff update template here. You can update the CSV, hit save, and then upload it here, and it will just update staff that already exist. So it matches by email address. If they already exist in ShiftCare, it will update their data instead of trying to create a new staff member. So that's a great little improvement there. Instructions on shifts. I really like this change. This was something that I was driving because I thought that it was too hard to tell if a shift had instructions on it. It always showed under more actions instructions here, but it showed whether or not the shift had instructions on them or not. And then it wasn't really sort of warning, like saying, well, you actually need to read this, like, this is important. So yeah, we've got instructions here now, and when you click view, yeah, it'll bring the instructions up on the screen. So yeah, just a little improvement there. I'm always keen on making sure that staff are being told everything they need to know to provide good care to their clients, and that's an important step in that. What else have we got? Bulk assign forms to clients. Cool. So anyone using forms, one of the things with forms is you have shift related forms. So those are forms that you want your staff to fill out while they're on a shift. Previously, you would have to go into each client, go down to the forms section here, and you would have to attach form, tick the form and attach it. If you had 100 clients, you had to do it 100 times. It's pretty painful. So now you can go to your main screen of clients. You can tick up here and you can go bulk action, add form, and you can associate a form through that way. That will then automatically assign that form to any shift that client has from today forward. And then your staff can use forms while they're on the shift. And of course, forms on the shift are these shift related forms here where they can fill them out and do the form. Report Hub, that's a new feature we launched. Check it out if you haven't. Some really cool reports. I think like this one was one I was screaming for when they were talking about doing a report hub. I was like, do this, we need this. So, you know, I still want to do some improvements in the scheduler in terms of how we show people that shifts are expiring soon. So there's a bit more warning than just turning the little circle gray. But this is a great improvement. You can come in here and you can go, okay, what shifts have I got from this date range that are expiring soon? And it'll show you and you can click on it and it'll take you to the shift. You can update it. What else have we got? Gee, I'm only just getting through this. I know I'm going fast, but there's a lot. I will get to your questions, by the way. I think it's just easier if I go through them. ShiftCare University, I'm not sure if you guys are all aware of that, but we have this sort of LMS system that we're linking with that you can do training for your staff. At the moment, there's 21 I think it's 21 or 23 courses that we have. I'm currently working on expanding that dramatically, getting the content ready with the team that are doing that. And we will be really pushing out the, you know, stuff about diabetes, stuff about coaching and, you know, things to really get your staff trained up. So we will see some really good improvements in the content of that. But yeah, it's really good. You can have your staff signed up on this. It will send your staff from ShiftCare over to the LMS. The LMS then emails them, they do the course, and then those certifications from those courses come back into ShiftCare. So you're able to track through the reports for your qualifications reporting, who has and hasn't done those courses, and you'll be able to like assign them to certain staff, to clients and stuff based on that as well. So yeah, that ShiftCare University and ShiftCare certifications is a great addition to ShiftCare. Multiple price books and pricing limits. I love this one. We used to have it so the clients only had one default price book, right? So you would set a default price book, and actually it still says it over here. Might need to look at that at some stage. Well, I guess they still do have a default price book, but now they have more than one price book, right? So you can go into a client and you can come down. There's a new section down here called price books, and you can say, okay, I actually deliver 4 services to this client. They're under their service agreement. We do assistance with self-care, access community, and domestic assistance or cleaning or something. And so you can come in here and go manage price books, and you say, yep, I'm going to tick this price book. I also do assistance in, I don't know, group activities. We also do group activities with this client, and also the default one, the one we use the most, you know, that still exists as a thing. What's the one we use the most? It's this one. Click assign, and so they're there. So then when I go and add a shift now for that client, when I go to choose the price books, it shows those 3 price books first, and then they've still got all the other price books. You know, we try to, you know, I think there has been a bit of feedback with people saying, can we only show those price books? Because I want to ensure that they don't use a price book that they're not covered for. I do think that that would be a good toggle to have in the account settings. So you can say only show price books assigned to the client. So that could be something. I haven't got that. I'm saying could because I haven't cleared it with the bosses yet, but I think that would be a nice improvement to this, to ensure, like, we're all about just trying to ensure your compliance, and you don't want invoices coming back that aren't approved because they weren't allowed to use those price books. But yeah, I think this is a good first start on that. But even that, like that in itself is a good improvement. But then the really cool stuff is when you click on this configure button. So on each price book, you can click on configure and you can actually say, okay, I want it to be attached to a fund. Like, so because it is something that is already in the shift, right? You can choose the fund when you're creating a shift, but it's an extra step that your staff have to do, and it can be forgotten or a mistake can be made. And so by doing this, you're saying, okay, look, my assistance with self-care activities is tied to this fund up here for core. So I want it to make sure that if the staff member chooses this price book, that it 100% goes to that fund. So that's really great. It's going to make sure, and we know that the new funding stuff with the 3-month sections and rolling over funding, that's something we do need to look into more. But we know that it's getting more and more important to make sure that you're monitoring this funding, and that probably comes to this next step here of these price book limits. So when you get the service agreement with this client and you're setting them all up in the software, that they really should only be doing a maximum of 5 hours of assistance with self-care. Maybe they're funded to do 10 hours a week maximum. So you can come in here and put dates in here and say, well, don't use it past this date, but also it's 10 hours maximum a week. And then show an alert when it gets less than 30% when they're doing it during the week. Because I want them to be mindful of the fact that they can't do more than 10. And then if they do try to do a shift that is going to go over 10 hours for that week, it will not let them. They would have to come in and change the limit. And so that's really going to help you keep that consistent care over the funding period, to ensure that they don't run out of funding before the end of their period. So yeah, I really love that. And then probably one of my most excited parts of this whole upgrade here that we did is this payment type. So you're able to, on a price book, say, this is part of the service that we deliver that's plan managed. So this funding is plan managed. And then, or in this case, it might be agency managed for self-care activities. And then Access Community is plan managed. And you can then, when you go to do your invoicing and you go to generate, you're able to, instead of just grouping it by client, which is the default that we have in the system, you can say, I wanted to do it by payment type. And if a client has at least two shifts on their schedule for that period that had different payment types, it will create two separated invoices for them, which solves that issue that we had of, at the moment, you had to create two client profiles for them, or you had to manually invoice them and go to the billing report and choose the shifts that were for one fund and hit generate invoice, and then the other shifts and hit generate. So this is a massive improvement on ShiftCare. And actually, while we're talking about invoicing and stuff like that, I'm going to jump ahead on my list because I know there's one further in the list that I'm super excited about that we just launched last night that I've been pushing hugely, is notional pricing. ShiftCare now supports notional pricing. So for anyone that doesn't know what notional pricing is, it's those items in the NDIS price guide that do not have a limit on them. So the price isn't set in the price guide. It doesn't tell you that it's $67 an hour or that the maximum amount that you can claim for that is $1, which is kilometers, right? A lot of people don't really understand kilometers, but kilometers aren't limited to $1. The NDIS price guide doesn't limit you and tell you how much you can charge for kilometers. It says that it considers a certain price to be the right price, but you are able to negotiate with the plan managers or the client themselves on a price that's fair for you for kilometers. And so say you say, look, cost of living, everything's going up, $5, $10 per kilometer. You can do that, but the NDIS price guide says that anything like that's notional pricing, that's not limited, has to be charged in a certain way. So the way it has to be charged is in units of $1. So if you had 10 kilometers at $1.10, then that's $11. So what you would do when the invoice comes out, it would be 11 units of $1. And so that was the part that we didn't do, but we now support that. So If you go into your invoice settings, you'll see that there is an option to toggle your mileage to be based on notional pricing. It's probably worth mentioning that at the moment, it doesn't matter like whether you do it notional or not, because most people are charging $1 for their kilometers. But I knew that that's going to change soon. I knew that people were going to start charging more than $1, and that's when it was going to start getting troublesome for clients, and we're probably going to start seeing plan managers coming back and saying, guys, if you're charging more than $1, it's notional pricing. You can't charge it at $1.10 per unit. It's $1 with the different mileage. So if that's what you want to do and you want to start charging your kilometers based on notional pricing, you just toggle that and the invoices will automatically flip those units around. But if you actually have a price book that you want to do, so like I said, some of these price books are all notional pricing. At the moment, they're not in the import price guide from NDIS. I will update that in the future so that you can import notional pricing from the price guide. But in the interim, you can just add a price book with the code on it. And then if you put a price in, like if I come here and change this toggle, see there's now on the pencil here, there's a notional pricing option. If I do that, then when the invoice gets generated, that's going to be, instead of one hour of $75.82, it's going to be 75.82 units of $1. And then that's going to be correct for your plan manager and invoicing and NDIA uploads and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, huge update there. I think for me, it was more about future proofing for those kilometers and stuff in the future. But yeah, that's going to be a great improvement. I'm going to keep moving. I know there's lots of questions. I will get to them, but I think it's important to get through this list. Split invoicing we talked about. Hide note types from the Carers app. So anybody that's using forms will agree with me that it's an absolute pain in the butt that forms, when you have forms and you have like maybe you have progress notes or incidents like this in the app, and then when the staff come in and use the app, they can still go to progress, hit the plus button, and there's incident right there. They don't know, like staff don't use the app every day. Sometimes it's not in the center of their mind how to use ShiftCare. And so what we need to do is eliminate those other ways of them to add it so that they can only go the right way. And so that's why we've added in the note headings here. So account and settings, you can come in here and I can say here, turn off incidents on the mobile app. And then that means when this app gets updated, I don't know if it's instantaneous, it's probably not. It won't show that incident. I think I probably have to close the app and open it back up again, but that will disappear off that list. So that's a great improvement. We do also have another improvement coming that you are able to, and you can see here, there is a ticketing system for incidents. My opinion is that ticketing system is not for carers to create tickets. What they should do is fill out the form that then creates a ticket. And so I wanted to eradicate that third way that staff can raise an incident is by hiding the incident ticketing, which I'm on a demo. I'm on a dev version of the app, so it's already hidden from mine. But you will be able to go into the settings, hide the incident ticketing system. So therefore, staff only have one way to raise an incident, and that's by coming into shift-related forms and raising the incident. That's what I've been aiming to get to for a little while now. What else have we got? 3-year recurring shifts. Oh my God. How good is that, right? You've got a service agreement that goes for 2 years. ShiftCare only lets you create 1 year of shifts, and then you got to remember, and you got recurring shifts ending. So now you can do 3 years of recurring shifts. So when you come in and you go shift, repeat, the shift date here, you can go forward now to 2028. Thank you. Oh my God. I feel like that's going to be important. By the way, please feel free in the chat to just say I love it or stuff if you're loving stuff, because I feel like I'm getting excited and I can't tell if everyone else is excited. So please give me a hell yeah or anything like that. Job board notification improvements. So this might be a bit of a contentious change that we made. So we did make a change. We've got two new changes. One is going to be that staff at the moment, you can't really control whether you get told when a staff member applies for a job on the job board, and it can get really spammy. So let me go to an admin staff member. Why did I choose that? Paul admin, where is he? There. All right, so on the right-hand side here, we're adding a toggle to actually make a decision that you can actually make a decision about whether or not you're going to get, I don't think it's been done yet, so this is coming in the next few days, but you'll be able to choose whether or not you get an email telling you that someone's applied for a job on the job board. Because look, it might be your job to assign people to jobs on the job board, and so you want those emails, but you're probably not, and you don't need 10 emails a day telling you that someone's applied for a job on the job board. So you'll be able to turn that off. The other email notification that we did is emails for when a staff member applies to a job on the job board, you assign it to somebody, and then the other 9 people that applied for it, they don't get told that the job's been assigned to someone. So they're thinking, oh, a friend wants to go out for dinner on Friday night, but I applied for a job on the job board for Friday night. I don't know whether or not I'm still in limbo for that. So we're going to send an email to your staff to tell them, hey, you've been, thanks for applying for the job, but we've given it to someone else. And then that sort of takes that out of there. They don't have to worry about it. They know they didn't. Now, what we're finding with that one is, and of course, we have a lot of ShiftCare users that use ShiftCare a lot of ways. We've seen that some staff, like some of you guys, are using a lot of jobs on the job board. And so these staff are getting absolutely smashed with emails telling them that they haven't been successful for a job and they're hating it. So we are looking at improvements there really quickly. It won't take us too long to get them out, where it'll group, like if there was 5 or something, it'll just send one email and say, hey, you weren't successful for these, or something like that. We will make improvements on that. Break tracking. So this is a feature that's coming. It's not released yet, but it is coming out either tomorrow or the next day. Well, it won't be the next day because tomorrow's Friday, but it might be Monday. And I shouldn't say specific dates. It's coming soon because something might go wrong in the last minute. But I have got it on my testing environment. So I wanted to show you guys what it was. And yeah, I think I mentioned it before, but there is this break time here. So no longer is the break time on the right-hand side where you just say it's a 30-minute break. What you do is you, and actually per staff member too, someone was talking to me about this yesterday or the day before, that I really hate it with group shifts. If I put 30 minutes on the left-hand side, that it puts 30 minutes on each staff member, but some of the staff that are in this group shift are only doing a 2-hour shift and they don't need a break. They don't get a break. But some of them are on a longer part of that shift, so they do need a break. So you're able to set it per staff member, and you're able to say, okay, I've got a paid break or an unpaid break. And we do need to, there is that part of like HR and fair work and tracking and ensuring that you're doing all you can as a provider to make sure that your staff are taking the breaks that they're required to take, and that they are doing that so that you can show that duty of care and all that kind of stuff. So even if it's a paid break, you can put it in. And then we have this concept of like a scheduled or flexible break. So you might say, look, I have a group shift. I've got 6 staff. It's really important that they take their breaks at the right time so that we can stagger those breaks. So you can put in the scheduled time and say, yep, you got to take your break from 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And they will then see that in the app. So in the app side, they will actually have a part, and I think it's in this section. Again, it's not quite ready for release, but essentially the staff member will be able to say that I have started my break. I think after they clock in, actually, there's a button here to say take break, and it tells them their break times in this break time section. They can then either do it as a clock in, clock out of their break, within the clock in. So they clocked in, they can then say, yes, I'm starting my break now. Yes, I just finished my break. or they can come in and say, I took my break, because we know some staff are going to forget to say that they're, if they forget to say that they took their break. So you'll be able to track all that. That'll be there for you to look in the shift. And yeah, I think that's just a great improvement to break. By the way, on this subject, the very next thing after we finish this is awake time tracking and sleepovers. We want to stop the 3 shifts for sleepovers. And I know that you guys will get excited about that. Essentially, 1 shift, 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next morning. Within that shift, you'll be able to click a button here that says under break time, there'll be another section for sleepovers. So you'll be able to say within this shift is a sleepover. It's from this time to this time. And then it's 1 clock in, 1 clock out at the end of the shift. It'll go over to your payroll systems. You'll be able to track awake time. So when there is a sleepover, staff will be able to clock in and clock out when they get woken up, or write their times if they didn't clock in and clock out at the time. And then you'll be able to have that sending over correct pay items to Xero to pay them for overtime and stuff like that. So some really exciting improvements coming for sleepovers. No ETA on that yet, though. I want to make sure we get it right, because yeah, it's something that we've held off doing for ages, because we're like, man, that's going to be tough. But we want to tackle it. We're going to tackle it, but I want to make sure it's correct so you guys can get accurate payroll and everything done. And also invoicing as well. If they get awoken for more than 2 hours, it needs to invoice them for certain things. So yeah, we'll look at that as well. All right. Break tracking, view documents in alphabetical order. This is just a little quality of life thing. Like I'm trying to push through these little quality of life improvements, because you guys use this software all day and it drives you nuts, some of this stuff. And it's like, guys, let's just quickly do something. We don't need to change the whole thing all the time. We can do little improvements. So this one here, when you go to Document Hub and you go to Shared, at the moment it shows you based on last updated, which is something I need to look at still, because it really should be uploaded, not last updated. And that's the same with documentation for clients and staff. But yeah, it gets messy, right? It's really hard to find the document you're looking for. We may even look at a search in the future, but yeah, you can now sort them alphabetically. Just makes it easier. Little tip for me would be that you can use Control F or Windows key F in Apple, I think it is, and then you can search for the words you're looking for and it'll find the document as well. But we should have that built in. So we'll see some more improvements coming in this space. We're also looking at the concept of folders and being able to categorize your documents better, and just better management of documents. We know that the document management system isn't ideal at the moment, and we are going to spend some more time on that. But as you can tell, we are working on a lot of things, and it's like we will get there. But yeah, this is one of them. Probably with that is also one of the improvements that I'm loving is when you go to communications now. We added a few extra filters. So first, we now have a select all option. That was infuriating, right? If you just wanted to unselect everything and just tick one thing, it took you forever. You had to keep unticking it. And then yeah, it was annoying. So we've added this. You can toggle it all and then toggle them all off, and it'll get rid of them all. But also this part here, you guys will love this. This is just being released. So I want to do an export for a support coordinator. I just want to show the notes that the carers have done. I don't want to show the internal private notes. So that will then only show public notes, and you can then export that out. So yeah, just these sort of quality of life changes that hopefully will help you guys with that. What else? Update client address. How good is this? I keep getting more excited every single one I'm talking about. So, pet peeve, right? You come in and you update the address, and then the client's got 40 shifts, and then the shifts don't update. You got to go through every single shift and update it. So, if I come in here and I go amazing, because this is amazing. They now live on amazing place. When I hit update, it's going to update. Would you like to update the addresses for all future shifts assigned to this client? So if they are assigned, so it won't be any shifts from before right now. It'll be only future shifts, and it's not group shifts because we know some, like with group shifts, it might be in a center or something like that. So we're not going to touch them. But yeah, update future shifts. It updates all their shifts. So if I now go to Brad Pitt, I don't even know if I have future shifts. Oh, it's Julia Roberts that I've got future shifts on. But yeah, it will. I tested it last night. I released this last night. So this is live on the software. It's amazing. One of the greatest updates I've been calling for a while. What else have we got? Attach PDFs to messaging. So anyone using the messaging system, I just turned this on just before this PDF, just before this webinar. So you can now, when you upload files, PDFs are one of the options that you can choose. That's great. We started with images. We just wanted to, messaging was a new piece of tech for us. We didn't want to jump into just letting everyone do anything. We wanted to make sure that it went smoothly. So we're happy now to put PDFs. I do have some more things that I want to add. I want to, we're doing the ability to delete messages. So yeah, like I said, if a staff member wrote something or put a photo up that maybe they shouldn't have, or privacy issues or something, admins will be able to delete messages. So we're just starting with that. I didn't want carers to be able to delete their own messaging to start with, but we'll look at it. But yeah, admins will be able to delete messages if they want to. And we're also going to look at stuff like being able to edit your own message and stuff. But to start with, I guess you can delete it and retype it if you need to. But yeah, that's a good improvement to the chat. Fund expiry warnings on shift creation. So again, this is one I just turned on last night. It's live in the software. So when you go to when you put a fund on a shift, it will warn you. So first, it'll show you expiry dates up here on the right-hand side now when you go to choose a fund. It will go orange when it's less than 90 days, and it'll go red when it's less than 30 days left in the funding period, just so you know. But also, if I try to create so this is expired on the 31st, the 1st of December. If I try to create a repeating shift that goes beyond that date, it's going to warn me and say it's beyond the expiry of core. I probably would like to update the wording a little bit just to make it clear that we're talking about funds here. But this is all about sort of, stopping those errors from rostering people when they're making shifts that are going to muck up your funding or cause issues down the track that you're going to have to fix because they created shifts for too long, especially now that we have 3 years recurring shifts. They really shouldn't create shifts beyond the funding period that So yeah, that's a cool improvement as well. Notional pricing we spoke about. Shift activity log. So this was added a little while. The things I'm going to talk about now weren't actually this month, but I just wanted to mention them in the webinar. There's a log feature now. On every shift, it's really specific. It tells you exactly who changed what and what they changed. And so, that question we get in support all the time is, how did that change on the shift? Why is it now at this time? Who did that? When did they do that? You'll be able to look at that yourself now by looking at this, and it tells you who did the change up here. So yeah, that's really awesome improvement. Zero payment sync. So now, but previously it was a one-way sync, right? So when you exported your invoices from Xero to from ShiftCare to Xero, that was it. The invoice would be sent to the client from Xero. They would pay that invoice, but in ShiftCare it would sit there saying that they owed $4,000 because it never got updated. That now comes through. So when you mark the invoices paid on Xero, it will mark the invoices paid on Xero on ShiftCare. So yeah, that's a really cool improvement. That's already live. It's already doing it. You probably guys have already noticed, anyone that's on Xero. I couldn't go through this webinar without mentioning Family Portal. If you're not using it, use it. It is a premium only feature. Look, a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about today isn't premium only. It's just everybody. And we did have a period of time where everything we released was in premium, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, you're only going to update premium?" That's not the case. We're investing a lot in new features and stuff like that, and some of these features that we sort of deem, well, yeah, we need it to be for premiums, but pretty much everything that I've shown you so far, almost all of it, I think Report Hub's premium, and some of it's premium, but most of it is for all plans because we're just trying to beef up that functionality of ShiftCare. So yeah, Family Portal, if you're not using it, get on it. It's awesome. We're still working on it. We've got new updates coming in the next week or so with that as well, and we will continue to iterate on that based on feedback. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Auto save drafts on progress notes. So this was something we added a while to the ShiftCare app. If I go in and go progress and add, oh yeah, incident's gone now. But yeah, if I go in and use the other progress notes way here, previously, if you started typing a note and then you went off and did something or moved back in the app, you would lose what you wrote. Now it saves it, and then when they go back in, so it gives that concept of being able to start writing a progress note and then, throughout the shift, sort of updating the progress note as I go. So that's a great improvement there. Proda invoicing. So we now have a direct integration with Proda. So when you go to invoices, you'll probably see it there. There's the NDIS claims section. So you're able to submit claims to Proda directly through the API, and you'll be able to see the status of those claims in ShiftCare. It's a pretty cool thing. If you are wanting to use that, go to our help.shiftcare.com and look up the word Proda. There's an article there. There's a form you can fill out to get. It's a bit of a pain because it is a direct integration with Proda. They're pretty strict on who can and can't get that access, and you have to go through an approval process, and it's not something you can just click on today, but it is cool. We've got a bunch of people using it now. Form export improvements. So we did improve exporting of forms. You are able to export, let's have a look, something with a few responses on it. So you are able to view as a table, which is cool. So you can go across and see answers without having to click into each one. But on this download now, you can download multiple PDFs at once. You can download as a CSV. You can download as a table. They were cool improvements that we did to the exports. Yeah, I think I already mentioned stuff that's coming. Okay, that's my list. I still think I'm actually missing some stuff. I didn't get a chance to completely round out the list, but pretty amazing. Awesome stuff. Now I'm sure there's like 400 questions in here. So let's get going. Just wondering when administrators will be able to log into the app so we can use the messaging service effectively. Yes, that two-factor authentication. There's my warning telling me that the webinar starts in 5 minutes. Two-factor authentication support for the app is currently being worked on. It's literally being coded right now. I can't tell you exactly when, but it will be within the next few weeks. So yeah, that's coming. Yes, I've been hounding for that for ages. When will the quoting application to quote for more than a month without errors, as most service agreement budgets are calculated for 12 months? So actually, I should have had that on my list. It's what it was that you had to it had to be in the future. So if you set the expiry of your quote to be the end of next month, the service dates of your quote had to be from the month after that forward. I don't know why that was ever put as the restriction. That's been solved as of last night. I rolled that out for everyone. So you can now go into quotes. You can create a new quote, and it doesn't matter what date. So if I put the quote expiry as tomorrow, I can still set the start of the service period to be the 1st of January to the 31st of December. No errors anymore. Do whatever you like. How good? Thank you. So yeah, that's fixed. By the way, I do want to continue looking at quotes. I am going to start working on some improvements to quotes. So yeah, the quotes and forms, incidents, and quotes are my project. I'm like, I want them to be better. I know that they are pretty cool. There is a lot of stuff, and I need to do a new webinar on incident tickets and forms so that everyone can understand how to use them properly, because it's not intuitive, but it's powerful when you do know how to use them. But I want them to be intuitive and powerful and everyone using them. So yeah, I will be working on that. How do I turn off staff approving their own timesheet? I'm just trying to think. Can staff approve their own timesheet? I thought that was just a thing in the admin area. Feel free in the chat if someone can think of something I'm missing. But I don't know how staff can approve their own timesheet. So I'll come back to that if someone corrects me. Is ShiftCare looking to implement leave types, annual leave, PCL? So yeah, look, we've improved the unavailability, and I always talk about this because unavailability is different to leave. Unavailability is your staff telling you, don't roster me on this period, but it's not you tracking leave from a payroll perspective. I would love to see us tackle leave. It's not on the short-term roadmap at the moment. It's not something we're discussing right now, but I think it is something that Matt, our CEO, is keen to be, so that we can, like, we're looking at things like costing of rosters and leave and all that, so that ShiftCare can be that be all and end all for your operations. So it isn't something on the short-term roadmap, but I absolutely think it's something we'll be looking at. And of course, this is just me talking off the cuff. So don't come back to me in 6 months and say, I saw you on a webinar saying you were going to do that, because I don't have the authority to decide what we do and don't do, but I will try my best. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought, Faith. Yeah, you can't approve your own timesheets unless you're a higher role and you're going into the admin area. But yeah, if someone else thinks of a way that I'm missing. Hi, Paul. Does the unpaid availability section still have the option for notice period? Yeah, that was a bit of an oversight in the release of unavailability. So at the moment, as it stands right now, if you've set it to don't put leave in for 21 days, the staff member can still put leave in for tomorrow. Apologies for that. We are scrambling a fix. The problem with it is that even when we release a fix for the app, it takes days for the update to go to like the Play Store on Google and the App Store. But I've been told by the developers this morning that fix will be implemented and live to your staff by Sunday, by the end of the week. So we're rushing that out. Instead of being a week to roll out, it's going to be 3 days as of today. So yeah, I apologize to everyone. Like I say, I mean, the good thing about all these new features is that we're bringing improvements, but sometimes sometimes it's a little bit, and we miss that one. So apologies for that. Staff unavailability. Can we run a report that lists all staff unavailability and we get sent a notification? No, I think that's what I want to do in the scheduler, is have the ability for you to say, don't show me all the shifts and unavailability. I just want to see all the unavailability in one thing. Maybe it's something we can look at in the report hub as well, so you can get a list of them. That's something I might talk to Abner about. But yeah, we will have improvements on viewing unavailability. I mean, you can go in and manage unavailability, and you can see it there. But yeah, no report as of yet. Notification when a staff member puts in for unavailability. Is that a request? Yeah, that could get noisy, but yeah, I'll take that on board and see whether there's any improvements we can do on that side. Can we get more information on the new leave update coming now? It's in beta, and how do we get a part of the beta trial? Hey, Kylie. Yeah, so the unavailability is already live. The availability, we're not doing a beta for it. We're just going to check it works internally, and it'll be released very soon. So yeah, you'll see availability coming soon. And by the way, availability is obviously like not that concept of, oh, I'm not available on this time, and putting like 20 different times that you're not available. Just tell you that I'm available on a Monday and a Wednesday. That's it. So when you go to do a shift, if you try to assign a staff member that hasn't put that as their available time, it'll tell you. But also you can, it's just a better system. And some multiple price books. Can we set a different billing contact for different line items? If an NDI is managed for still and plan managed for CP, then the appropriate billing contact. Yeah. Jared, that's a really great question, and it is something that is lacking from that feature at the moment that I picked up straight away. But I didn't want to stop the whole release because there is a workaround for it, but I do want to fix that. So I want you to be able to, on the client's profile, say, for the payment types, these are my billing contacts. Because at the moment, when you do the invoicing and you go to invoice and generate, it will set both of them to the one singular billing contact that you have. So you may have to change them in the drop down. Yeah, it's one of those things like, do we hold off the whole release to do that, or do we just go with it? I decided to go with it. I hope that was the right choice, but we will circle back to that 100%. Since we're paying the support worker for their travel time, how should the travel time be recorded when going to participants and going home? They can only clock in once and they arrive at their PIN location or the participant's home. We are adding some work, actually, that should have been on my slide. I was going to get a bit of a chat about that. Essentially, we're adding the ability, we're working on stuff in terms of travel time and travel kilometers and stuff like that. So we're adding verification of kilometers. So when a staff member does do travel to and from a shift, it's going to show you they're going to be able to enter their start point in the app when they leave, and then put in their number of kilometers. And also in the future, it will suggest the kilometers. But then when they put them in, then when you go to approve the timesheet, it's going to say, hey, the staff member put 27 kilometers, but by our judgment of what the address that he was going to and the client's address, it's only 12 kilometers. So it's going to give you that warning, and then you can go, hang on, what's going on? Because we know, unfortunately, some support workers love a little bit of a buff to their mileage to help that pay packet, but we really need to be monitoring what they're doing. That doesn't really answer your question. Essentially, there is no like tracking of the travel time at the moment within ShiftCare. Maybe that's something as a next part of that mileage stuff that we can look at, is where a staff member for a shift can say, hey, I'm just starting to travel now to this client. Yeah, I like that. Let's put that on notice as something we can talk about. Hi, can I please show us an example of alerts for when the percentage hits? Probably not, because it's going to take me a while to like get all the numbers in there and stuff, but I think it just comes as a little red warning like it did with the it goes under the price book when you select it, and it just says it in red underneath. So yeah, give it a test as well. Any location for non-labor kilometers other than activity based? Yeah, so you can do activity based transport and provider travel. If that answers that question, that's with our split mileage or advanced mileage feature. If that doesn't answer that question, could you ask it again in a different way? Kylie's back again. With the split invoicing and payment type, are we able to have an option that the client is paying? Yeah, so someone asked that. Yeah, it will put the billing contact as the primary billing contact for now, but you can toggle it. And I know that that's an extra step, but I thought it was a big improvement to start with anyway. But I will circle back to that. If we need to bill kilometers to clients, but their transport allowance transferred to their own base. Yeah, I don't think we're quite there with the splitting yet, where you can say, okay, the service is this, but the kilometers, so the service is plan managed, but the kilometers are privately charged or self-managed. We don't separate the kilometers to different splits yet. It's really just about different services being to different splits. I feel like that's happening more now than I feel like you're not the first person to say that to me. So maybe that is happening more and more. So I might need to put that on my list of things to look at how we can tackle. Yeah, thanks. I'm having trouble with filling in all the kilometers on the app. But my invoices keep getting set back because they're doubling up. Hey, Karina. Yeah, I mean, if that's not working properly, definitely. Yeah, I hope you've already been to the support team about that. But if you haven't, go and talk to the support team about it. Feel free to just tell them that if they have already looked at that and you haven't had an answer, just say, can you please ask Paul to have a look at this, and I'll have a quick look if you still think it's happening, if it's not right. So yeah, you shouldn't be having doubling up or anything like that. Narelle, the update to unavailability has lost the function to amend entries. They have to be deleted and re-entered. Also, the unavailability view does not specify reason, staff unavailable. Okay, yeah, good points. Your function to amend entries. Okay, that's interesting. The unavailability project was not one I was widely across. Unfortunately, I can't be across everything, but I will look at that, Narelle. Let me put that on my list. Let me write that down somewhere. Availability. Cool. I've noted that down. I'll come back and have a look at that. But yes, if we add a new feature, we shouldn't be losing functionality. That's my opinion. So I will definitely have a look at that. Are you aware of the fact that kilometers are not funded by the NDIS although it is in the price guide? Advising you can only is okay. It's not going to help with people getting the hours of support they need. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not telling you that you should charge more. I'm not. Yeah, I'm just telling you that that's how it works. Yeah, probably not going to get into an argument about that in this webinar. As mentioned by another comment, I would like to know an answer to this question. The update to unavailability has now stopped functionality to amend. Yep, cool. I will look at that after this webinar. I'll jump straight on that. Yes, you're right. Did this start late? I have no idea what I missed on, but I kept on trying to enter the session. Yeah, sorry. You will get a recording of this though. So anything you missed before, and yes, I know it went fast. Sorry, there was a lot. But you'll have a recording. You'll be able to slow it down, go back, look at it again. We need to be able to turn off provider, travel, and non-labor costs for support workers. Yeah, I'm keen to revisit split mileage and make that better and find out ways to do that. I'll take that feedback on board. Is there a way to remind staff to sign on and off? Also, is there a way for admin to be notified when there is a message when offline from ShiftCare? So there kind of is a reminder for staff there is an app setting in the app that you can turn reminders on. Hang on, let me unlock my phone so that comes up. So on the right hand side, in the menu down the bottom here, there's a shift notifications toggle that will send them a reminder. I think it's 15 minutes before their shift starts it's kind of just to remind them that the shift, but it's really a reminder to clock on and off, to clock on. And then there is a notification to clock out as well before. But it might be, I would like to probably see some improvements in that maybe 10 minutes after their shift started, if they haven't clocked in still, there's another reminder. I think it's easy for staff to just get to a site and start something straight away, gets their attention and they forget to clock on. So yeah, I'd like to see some better reminders in that. Also, when a support worker puts in the transport kilometers, should automatically replicate in carer's mileage. Yeah, yes. I'll definitely look at ways that we can improve the split mileage stuff. When creating a shift, is there a way to be able to design a standard shift template? I get so frustrated when I quickly add a shift and I miss sometimes, but I don't. Yeah. Templates based on shift type is something that I heard one of the product owners talking to me about that the other day. I don't know whether it's currently being designed, but it's certainly something that we know that be a huge improvement, like adding the mileage allowance and doing all that stuff. Yeah, it would be nice so that you can at least know that the major things are done. And then if you want to make any changes, you can. I think it is something that I don't want to promise something that we're not going to do, but I think it is something that's been discussed. How do you get the unpaid breaks to go over to the timesheet? Yeah, so when you do use those split, that new break tracking, it will go onto the timesheet, and it will be, we're updating the UI and stuff to show the breaks and stuff. That's all part of that feature. So I'll probably do a webinar and stuff on these to do a bit more in depth. What is a API key to connecting to Cloud Assess? Yeah, so if you have spoken to the customer success team and you have signed up to Cloud Assess, they will have given you an email which logs you into Cloud Assess, which on their side they have an API key. Definitely reach out to the success team or support team if you're having any dramas with that. They'll get you sorted. No worries, Karina. Keep firing the questions away. Hopefully I'm helping a bit. Staff have advised that the client address is not showing up, and a list of client names when I put the need to know information and useful is not showing up when I add it. No, that doesn't sound right. Definitely talk to support again about that if you're still finding that's going on, and tell them to ping me. I don't want everyone pinging me in support chats, but I want you guys looked after, and I don't want things not working if they're supposed to be. So let me know if there's an issue there. I'll definitely look at that. But yeah, all that stuff should be showing up. Wanting to be able to track tickets for a client. So client is allocated and can be tracked. Wanting to be able to track tickets for a client. I'm not really sure, Matt, what that means. Sorry. Can you, when you say tickets, what do you mean? Can you reword that for me? By the way, that sort of reminded me, it's something in my head just popped up, that we are looking at expenses. So at the moment, in my opinion, our expenses system is not, it's not in regulation with the NDIS, and so when your staff add an expense to a shift, it won't get paid by a plan manager because it doesn't have all the information that's required and stuff like that. So I've already started working with a product owner on the designs on fixing up our expense system so that it is functional for you guys. So things like adding a toll or adding parking and consumables while they're on a shift and stuff like that. Hopefully that'll all be done. In client communications, can it be an option to have notes listed in correct date order as opposed to completion order? In client communication can be an option to in correct date order as opposed to completion order. That's a good question, Emma. I didn't actually realize it wasn't in that order. So it should be the date of the shift that it was added to, perhaps. Yeah, that would be a nice toggle, I think. Yeah, I'll put that on my list. Good feedback. Can it be possibly that you can allocate the team when setting up a new client the same time the demographic info is setting up? Yes, actually, Matt, that's really good feedback, because I think that's a problem when you have permissions set and you have them set to being team-based only. The staff can create the client and then suddenly they can't see them because they're not in a team. That is a problem that I want to fix. Thank you for reminding me. Allocate teams when creating. And yeah, thanks, Debbie. I saw your message there. No worries. Yeah, it is right. I mean, we always need to be mindful of the fact that we're all here to help clients, and the delivery of care should be our number one priority. And everything we decide in terms of funding is going to have an effect on that. So yeah, but we also need to have businesses that are sustainable. Cool. Is there a possibility for a search bar within the messages? That's a great piece of feedback. Yeah, it would be handy, wouldn't it? Because yeah, it's a bit, I think actually, yeah, even just a search bar, yeah, up the top so you can search for, yeah. I think people with a lot of teams as well can be quite painful trying to find the teams and everything. So yeah, we should look at that as an improvement to our messaging. When staff have unavailability, we have to go in and take them out for each individual shift. Is there an update that we want to take them out of a shift and put them? Yes, I need to address that, Kylie. Thank you. That's really annoying, especially if you've got your shifts already done months ahead. They add an unavailability. It it should just put it to vacant shift. It shouldn't just make the shift pending. And also, I would love to see the ability to put on shifts that if a shift becomes vacant, just put it on the job board straight away. Um, I think that's sort of the next iteration. And also, we have added this feature, by the way. I'm sure you guys all know about it, but there is the ability for staff to decline shifts now in the app. It's a setting that you need to turn on. But like, let's say I'm rostered to do a shift next week and I'm no longer able to do it. I can just decline it. And I know some of you will be like, oh my God, I would never let staff do that. That was crazy. But sometimes that can be helpful. And what I would love to see is if the decline option, then it goes straight to the job board, so that you don't have to manually try and find someone else and all that kind of stuff. Stuff that's in my head that I'm trying to look at. But yes, I will look at that, Kylie. Thank you. Can we create group messaging on as each SIL house? Yeah, I mean, look, at the moment it would just be you would create a team for the SIL, and then that would be the group messaging for that. But yeah, I think maybe messaging based on facilities, if we're using the new facilities thing, which by the way, facilities is something I know we need to come back to and make it actually really cool. But yeah, that's good. Thanks, Faith. Can you talk about what they see, and is there a way that they can only see what you want them to see instead of saying you don't have access? That was you probably wrote that when I was talking about something, and I'm not sure what that is in relation to. Sorry if you don't mind writing that again. Holy crap, there's so many questions. I'm still flying through them. When doing quotes, quite often we are getting rolled over plan dates, or if a change of circumstance we only find from families when we cannot backdate it. Yeah, I know that was yeah, I already covered that, Kylie. But as you probably know, it was awesome that we've changed that. You can now backdate quotes. Can quotes be generated? Yes. Is there a setting for automatically approving? There is a setting, yeah, for timesheets. You can automatically approve timesheets. That might have been what that person was referring to. Maybe turn that off if you don't like it. When can development and add our own ticketing system? Yes, that's currently. So I have a project that is just so we've scoped it. We're just getting the designs done. But essentially, you'll be able to create your own incident categories and have a list of them. And yeah, there's some really cool changes coming to the incident ticketing system. So yes, that is in the short-term roadmap. I don't want to give a date, but it's within a couple of months, hopefully. In a shift, can the log show who has been removed from a shift? I thought it did. Log. So if I go edit and I take app tester off and I change it to Albert Einstein, and I go back. Maybe not. Yeah, I'll have a look at that. I absolutely thought that was something we tracked in the log. I'll have a look at that, Darren. Thank you for raising that. Change staff on log, not showing. Cool. Lots of good feedback today, guys. Thank you. With incident reports, can the hierarchy be further updated because the categories go to different people? Yeah, that's not in my current scope that I was just talking about, but it will be in future versions of that. Like I said, incidents and ticketing and quotes and forms is like my sort of pet projects that I want to make better, and I will make the hierarchy. We actually designed, and just to give you a bit of an insight, we actually have got designs that we need to circle back to it of a thing called workflows. So instead of just what you're talking about, but it's actually like, okay, if a incident ticket has the subject with the word something in it, then I want you to email this specific person. Like you can get really granular with it. And like when a ticket changes from this status to this status, I want you to do this. Like you will be able to have all these workflows based on what you actually need for your business. I don't know that that's been approved to be done, but it's something that I will be championing for. Yeah, so hopefully we'll see that. Yes, that would be great. Cool. Is there an automated price book coming? Do we have the ability to import? Do we have the ability to just import the NDIS? We've never automated the price books because some people with their service agreements and stuff, they don't put in their service agreements that the price will go up when the NDIS price goes up, and so they stay on the same pricing for some people for a period of time. So we've always made the price book updates be something that you do just to be on the safe side. We don't want to change people's pricing. Do we have the ability to just export the NDIS price guide? I mean, there is an export price books section. What's the business case for exporting the NDIS price guide? Let me know and I'll think about it. Thank you. Are you able to upload our form from Word document in feature? We looked at that and it was a huge development project, and we kind of like, whenever we're weighing things up about what we want to add to ShiftCare, we always need to look at like how long is that going to take us, how much work is that, how many people are going to get benefit out of that, and we made the analysis on that we weren't going to add that to ShiftCare at this stage. I'm not saying we'll never do it, but yeah, we aren't looking at that right now to be able to like upload a document and have it create a form out of that document. But I'm always open to hearing feedback on how critical that is to your business. And, you know, if that's something that we need to look at in the future, we can. For filtering incidents, is it possible to have a filter to view only open, closed, or filter with manager responsible to view a particular client? No, look, with the incident ticketing system, at the moment you have this private mode turned on, but if you turn that on, it stops even other admins from seeing the tickets. So I'm making a change so that even if you turn private mode on, it's just going to hide it from the carer, and they're not going to get emails and updates on the tickets, which most people probably want, but other admins can see that incident ticket as well. I do agree with you, Brooke, though, that I think we need to get more granular with like maybe only people that are on roles lower than admin, like ops or whatever, can only see tickets for clients that are associated that are in a team with them or something like that. I think that would be good. Yeah, I'll put that down as my improvements to the ticketing system in the future. So we have to split the shift to put non-labor kilometers. No, you can use our split mileage feature to do non-labor kilometers. Or, I mean, all our shifts have kilometers, but it's if you want to do provider travel and activity-based transport on the same shift, you'll need to use our split mileage feature for that. I've done a webinar on that. So if you search on YouTube for split mileage, are medication charts going to be coming on to ShiftCare? And is there more info on this? Definitely charts in general is something that I'm keen to tackle. I don't know where on the roadmap that sits, but I know it's on our list of we want to do it. It's not in the short term, like it's not starting in the next month. But yes, I want to say that it's high on our agenda, that we do want to be able to do charts because we know that that's important for carers on shifts, especially in medication charts and stuff like that. Our team leaders do rosters. Actually, before I go into that, Debbie said, thank you. I meant import to ShiftCare as we have a price guide that we have done for us. We could just import a file. Yeah, we do have an import price books functionality. I've got to be honest, even I struggle using the import price book. I don't really know what the requirements are. I probably need to get my help document writer to tackle that and to understand the requirements and create a document on how to import price guides. But yes, we do have an import price guide feature. My general way that I use it is if I wanted to do a mass update, say on the kilometer pricing, you could export out the price guide using our export and then change the CSV and then re-upload it. And that works because it's in the format that it's supposed to be in. But yeah, you could use the export as a guide on how the import should look. But yeah, we do need to fix up the documentation on that. Our team leaders do roster. but they don't need to see the budgets, only need to have a price book. Can we hide the funds from them? And the low budget thing is optional, especially for our team leaders, don't need to see that as well. Yeah, Faith, that's good feedback. At the moment, that's not going to be optional. But I hear where you're coming from. Yeah, I'll think about that. I guess like if you're putting a budget in there, surely you don't want them going beyond that budget though. Like, what's the point of having the budget if you just let them go beyond it? Is my sort of thing about that. Maybe we can chat about that sometime, Faith. And yeah, I'd be keen to get your feedback on that. For the dashboard, can admin staff be filtered out of this to give more accurate information? Yeah, Brooke, probably. Well, the first thing I would say to that, oh, do you mean the scheduler or the reports? Because if you mean the scheduler, you can, on a staff member, you can set them to not be able to be rostered. So there's a tick box for available for rostering. If you untick that, then they don't show on the scheduler. And so that's probably the answer to that if you're talking about that. If you were talking about in the dashboard, um, the reports in the dashboard at the top there. Oh, this dashboard up here. Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, that's a good question. I think probably the hard thing with that though is we do have people that are our admins that do shifts, and so we can't just do a global rule and say don't show admins on this. But I'll take your feedback on board and see if there's something we can look at to make that better. Because obviously for you, you don't want to see them there, and that makes sense. Will there be a search function in the chat groups? Yeah, someone was just asking about that. Yes, I think that would be the good next iteration. I'll put that on my list to have a look at. That would be great. I feel like I'm getting to the end of these questions. So many questions. I love it. How can a shift log show can the shift log show who was removed? Yeah, yeah, we covered that. How will the MyOb integration with API work? It's actually the same as the Zero integration. So you go into it. This is a bit of a preview on it. So you connect through the API and then you set your pay groups up. So you come into casual and it'll show you all the pay categories in MyOb. So you'll be able to choose the pay category for each time frame. Same with allowances, and then you'll be able to export from here. So you'll be able to export timesheets and export invoices directly from ShiftCare over to MyOb. I should and I will do a webinar on the MyOb integration once it's up and going. It's not too far away. Incident tickets allocated to a client so can be searched and filtered. Yeah, well, actually, incident tickets are already allocated to a client, but you can't search and filter it by. It's infuriating. It's in an update that one that I said that we're already working on an incident ticket. It's included in that. So yeah, you'll be able to actually the whole thing about incidents on the left-hand side where you've got like all these different statuses and everything, and then you've got all this across the top here. We're reworking this whole thing and we're just making it so much simpler to just see the data that you want to see. I think we tried to, in our minds, we were like, show them everything. And then it was like, actually, it's really hard to work out what you're looking at. So yeah, we've got some improvements coming in that space. Is the family functional? My family advised they couldn't cancel a shift or create a shift. However, I've set the toggle to do this. Does it cost every time they access the portal, or is it just a one-off payment? Okay, so first question, is it functional? Well, yes, it should be. If you're finding that you've got staff saying, family members saying they can't, please let our support team know. Again, ping me if it's not getting an outcome that you need. Does it cost every time? So Family Portal is a premium feature. If you're on the premium plan, it's included in your subscription. There's no charges for Family Portal on top of being on the premium plan, which is awesome because the old ShiftCare Connect was $3 per login. That doesn't exist anymore. Is the facility section, is there any plans to be able to add maintenance request section? Brooke, there's no plans right now for facilities, but it is like we kind of added that facility section and we put all this stuff that you can do down the bottom. It doesn't really do anything at the moment. I'm super keen for us to circle back on that at some stage. So no right now, but yes, I want to look at facilities, or hopefully the team wants to look at facilities soon. So yeah, we'll see. Hi Paul, how can I print the weekly scheduler support from ShiftCare for each client? It only allows me to print monthly. Yeah, I think like if you're talking about like in a calendar view, I think it's not ideal. I think you can go if you're wanting it, if in a list view is okay for you, you can do it from a billing report, I believe. So if you go to Brad Pitt and you go to either shift breakdown or billing report, I think you can set whatever date range you want here. And then you can hit the print button here. You can also email it to your client using this button here, like the most obscure button we have in ShiftCare. So yeah, I think that's probably the only answer I have for you, but I feel like it was something we talked about, making it like a simple thing like that. But I always say too, like the question there is, if does the client need it actually physically printed, or is it the family member that wants to know the shifts? If so, get them on Family Portal, because that's what Family Portal's for. So you don't have to keep printing out stuff. But I still hear from people that say, well, that's all well and good, but they don't know how to use the Family Portal, or this participant isn't able to use the Family Portal, they want it physically printed. Then yeah, I agree, we need to look at something for that. Is it possible for only team-based staff to accept jobs on the job boards? For example, if a petition gets posted on the job board, yeah, that's a feature. So when you add a shift to the job board, and you toggle job board here, the open to section here will show you the teams. So you just choose a team and then hit save, and that will only show it to staff that are in that team. By the way, I should probably mention there's way more filters than that too. So if you go into advanced edit and do it, you can say, oh, I need someone that speaks Arabic or whatever. They must have they must have a working with children's check. They need to live within 20 kilometers of the address. Yeah, there's some cool filters for the job board. Is it possible to see all deleted shift data on ShiftCare? No, it's not. Actually, let me delete this shift. I think I speak out of turn. I think you used to not be able to. I think if you're on the premium plan, there's an activity log, and maybe yeah, okay. I thought that they added a log for that. Let me follow that up. Delete shift showing on audit log. I thought that it showed in this audit log. I'll follow up on that one for you. Thank you for asking. Is there a way for multiple teams to moderate delegated worker case notes and mark them they have been moderated? No is the short answer. Like I'm pretty straightforward when I answer things, and I don't like saying no to things. But if you're using forms, there is an approval process for forms. So if you had shift notes as a form, it comes in as like pending or whatever, and then you can approve it, but it's not multiple teams. It would be one person that approves it. As for the old shift notes version, there is no approval process for shift notes. Quinn, feel free to email me, paul@shiftcare.com, to just give me a bit of an understanding of why that's important to your business and what your business use is and why you have multiple teams that need to approve case notes and stuff like that. Because I haven't had anyone ask me for that before, but that's not to say that there aren't other people that may want that. So I always like to understand it. And then if I hear that happening and people ask me multiple times, I start to look at ways that we can solve those problems. Is there a way to stop mileage being applied to more than one staff member when one staff assigned to the same shift? Yes, Darren, that's in the split mileage feature. So you would need to look at split mileage, or we sometimes call it advanced mileage or split mileage. It does break it down to each individual staff, but anyone that's using it advanced mileage will tell you that it also makes it way more complicated to use for your staff, because there's multiple fields that they have to fill out now. So please do watch the webinar that I've done on it, where I explain the difficulties that you'll have, but also why it's awesome. It's a bit of a toss up. It'll solve a lot of problems, but also create some problems. How can we differentiate between NDIS and aged care shifts on the timesheet so the correct rate applies? That sounds like you just need to do pay groups. So in pay items, in pay groups, you can create, so you can have a pay group for NDI for Shad's Award, and then you can have another pay group for aged care. And then on the shift level, when you're creating a shift, you can assign down the bottom when you put the staff member on it, you can assign the pay group to say, I want to pay this as aged care and I want to pay this as NDIS. You can also set a default on a staff member. So if they predominantly do aged care, then you would set their well, to be honest, my understanding, and I'm not a absolute HR expert. I think I know a fair bit, but you generally have to classify a staff member based on what work they do the most, and then that's the award that you pay them on. That you wouldn't pay staff under two different awards. I might be wrong, but that's what I thought. But either way, even if that is what you do, you can do that. So that's fine. That's if someone calls in sick at a SIL location over the weekend and a staff arrange cover for a shift, is there anyone still in this webinar, by the way? There's still 61 people. Holy crap. You guys are game. If someone calls in sick at a SIL location over the weekend and staff arrange cover for the shift, the staff covering the shift is unable to clock in for their shift. I mean, if you've updated the shift and changed the staff on the shift, they should be able to clock in. If they're not arranged, if they're not changed, then no. It's a good question. I think that is so the staff are arranging themselves to be covered by someone else, and so it's not involving an admin staff. So essentially what you're really asking is, can staff give their shift to someone else? And I actually was having this conversation with one of our product owners the other day about this, and us beefing up the ability to create and modify shifts. And obviously this would be behind toggles because not many people want their staff doing stuff like this, but there is people that do want this. So yeah, I think we will look at that, and the ability for staff to assign their shift to someone else, and that person say, yes, I will take that shift, and then they will be able to clock in and out of that shift. So I think that's something we're looking at. Can there also be a date and timestamp of when unavailability was entered? Yeah, definitely. When was unavailability added? I thought that would have been on there, but yeah, thanks, Darren. I'll look at that. If forms are used for shift notes, can staff see notes from these forms when they clock in for their shifts, read the notes from previous shifts? Yeah, so there's a couple of things with that. When you create the form, you need to make sure that on the step of assignment, and by the way, of course, with a shift related form, you don't assign it to anybody. So don't do the actual assignment, but up here on the right-hand side, there's two toggles. You do need multiple responses on because they're going to use that form multiple times, but you should untick private responses, because if you don't untick private responses, other carers can't see the responses. And yes, when you're in a shift, you can go to shift related forms and you can go to responses. If you have untoggled that, they will be able to see previous responses from other staff members for the same client. Wow, I got through all the questions. Thank you, everyone. I hope that was really helpful. There's so much stuff going on. I was like, oh, I need to tell everyone what's going on. And I wish I could go more in depth. And I know I went really fast, but there was just so much to go through. Yeah, thank you, everyone. I hope you're loving all the stuff that we're working on. I'm really proud of our team, and I just want to give a big shout out to everyone from the CEO down. Everyone in ShiftCare is working so hard at the moment, and when you punch out features like this, it affects every part of our business: marketing, support, success, engineers. Everyone is super working hard. So thank you. I hope you guys are loving it. I do want to keep hearing your feedback. Definitely let me know. And yeah, take care.